Hello, everyone, and welcome to another inspiring episode of Kailash with Mohanji Chronicles. In this series, we are exploring the sacred journey to Kailash through the eyes and hearts of those who have walked its path. Today, we are delighted to have a special guest with us, Asja Dupanovic from Bosnia and Herzegovina. Asja is a psychologist by profession, and she also has a deep passion for natural healing techniques and reflexology. But today we'll talk about her powerful pilgrimage to Kailash that she took in 2023 as part of Kailash with Mohanji group. Hello, Asya, how are you?
Hi, great and very excited to talk about our journey. I'm really excited. It was
Me
the
too.
trip of my life.
Great, I'm looking forward. Well, actually, I know a lot about it because we were there together that year, but I'm really happy to have you here and to share it with everybody watching. So, um, tell me, what inspired you to take Kailash journey, or how did you actually hear about Kailash?
Uh, the greatest inspiration came from the experiences of previous pilgrims. I was always at awe with not only the sights and the stories about this place. I also read Kailash with Mohanji book. So mostly testimonials of people about this really magical place.
And after reading that, you decided to go. You were already, well, I think you lived in India, right? So you were kind of familiar with Kailash and the stories, right?
I spent
A long
some
time ago.
part of my life living in India, not very long, 2.5 years, but I didn't know about Kailash back then. I was already in Himalayas. I visited Nepal, but I didn't know about this sacred pilgrimage. Um, Reading the testimonials and hearing stories from that place, I knew that I wanted to go there sometime. I had no idea when. I did not have any vision. I knew I wanted to go. I also thought that, well, because of some of my physical challenges, that it might be, yeah, very challenging, and that it would be tough for someone like me to go to such a place and endure such a journey, to go so high up in the mountains. But I knew that I wanted to go, definitely, and I had no idea when. And two years ago, in 2023, we were sitting, three of us colleagues, and one was very determined to go, and the other one asked me, like, "Why didn't you go as well?" And I actually paused and took a moment and realized that I don't know why I don't go. Later that afternoon, I had a really, really serious conversation with myself. And I realized that there is absolutely no argument not to go. I knew that I remembered actually in that moment during this conversation that I was having with myself that Mohanji said that there should be no waiting. I mean, if you have the time, you have the means, you're healthy. I mean, you have 2 feet, 2 hands. There is nothing to wait for. And we also have no idea. For example, if you're considering going this year, you have no idea if you'll even be able to go next year. I mean, we all saw how Corona locked us all in
Mm.
our homes. Corona also closed Kailash, closed this whole area. Maybe many people were considering going exactly in 2021 or 2022, but it was not possible for anyone from the world. So I fully agree that we should not be considering any kind of procrastination, any kind of waiting, because you never know. I will share a really super interesting moment that happened to me this year. Back then in 2023, when we were there together, I knew that I was coming back. But again, I had no idea when. I wasn't even thinking about it, when. I knew that I wanted to go back. And there was, in the whole pilgrimage, there was one thing that I felt afterwards I didn't really fully experience enough, and I wish to go back to that spot. It is the north face of Kailash, the first evening of the pilgrimage. Pilgrims sleep exactly under that north face of Kailash. I mean,
Mhm.
it's very visible, very
Yeah,
beautiful.
that's the closest you can get to Kailash during the
Exactly.
pilgrimage, and the best view of the Kailash is in that point.
Oh,
At that
I actually have it's the scenery has been on my desktop actually for
we,
2 years.
you
It
can send
is
it to me and we can share.
it is the most mesmerizing sight that I ever witnessed in my life.
Yeah,
Would you like me to, can I share it now or?
you can send it to me and then we'll share it later.
Okay, because it's in my testimonial. So it's,
Yeah,
yeah,
you
it's a
wrote the
very,
testimonial as well.
it's a
We
professionally taken photo by our colleague Zoran. And anyhow, we stayed there one night, but I just did not spend enough time there. If you remember, it was raining that afternoon when we reached, so we didn't really go out. The next day, when we had to leave very early, and I just felt like that was not enough. I want to come back here again, and that hill under which we slept that evening, I just, I'm dying to see what's behind that hill. I need to climb that hill. I cannot tell you, in my life there is not one single thing that I could tell you, oh, I'm dying to see that place, or I'm dying to meet that person, and I'm dying to do that. But that hill in Dirapuk, I have to go back there. And this year it was actually announced for the first time that pilgrims will be spending an extra night in that spot in order to climb that hill the next day and go beyond, go to what is called the Charan Sparsh, or touching the feet of Kailash. I cannot believe my
the
fortune.
imprints of Shiva's feet are believed to be there.
There, yes. I cannot believe my fortune actually. And a
So
question
you
for
maybe come back this year to fulfill your.
I'm having a question for you. What do you think I'm thinking about waiting for the next opportunity to go to Charan Sparsh? I'm not
I
thinking
would not
anything.
wait.
I'm
I know that, and you know that. You're just asking me for the sake of asking me.
yeah,
But everybody who's been to Kailash, they know that nobody regretted that they didn't wait, right? Everybody was, nobody would postpone that journey once they had it. So, yeah, don't
yes,
ask me.
we've also seen a few years back what happened with the Indian citizens, who so many in great numbers were planning to go, even in our own group,
They
and
were not allowed. So
they were not allowed. They were just
you never know
forbidden.
what's going to happen. You don't know if you're going to
Yeah,
be
so you
allowed.
never know what's going to
That's,
happen. Don't
don't
overthink,
postpone.
don't wait. No
So
postponement.
you may be going this year again. Nice.
Yes.
We'll see. Okay, great. Looking forward to talk to you after you come back and share another experience. But let's get back to this one. So you mentioned you were experiencing health challenges and also some other challenges before your journey. I know you experienced. So can you tell me more about that? What was potentially stopping you from going?
So once I really felt this great desire to go, the next second I had a thought of, oh my God, No, how can I do it? How can someone like me go for such a challenging journey? I spent half of my life in sports, and then all of a sudden I was professional skier, and all of a sudden I could not really, I don't have any more balance in my I don't feel great balance in my legs, so I'm not skiing anymore for many, many years, maybe 20 by now. Um, and I would have to be walking, which I find very challenging, and possibly climbing. I have no idea. So how could I even think of something like that? And then in the following second, I told myself, I am not letting any challenge stop me from possibly a journey of my lifetime. I also had no means to undertake this journey. I remember about 250 euros in the moment when I decided to go. So I put them in an envelope and decided to try to just come up with, to raise the money, to earn this money. And it was really funny what was going on this topic of money. Whenever I would earn something and put the money in this envelope, all of a sudden I would get some super funny, unexpected bill for something that was really unexpected. And I would spend the money and earn it again and spend money. We're not talking about years here. It was all happening within, for example, 3 months. Yes, it was about 3 months from those 250 euros to the whole amount that was necessary to pay. And when I made the day when I had all the money, I tried 3 times to make the transaction. For some reason, it failed. And the very night after that, my whole bank account was fully emptied by some hackers from a country far, far away. So the next morning, there was nothing on that bank account.
And what happened?
I had a moment of shock, and then in the next moment, I just surrendered. I surrendered the whole situation to Mohanji and Shirdi Sai Baba, saying, mentally, this is just beyond me. There is absolutely nothing. I don't have, it's not like you had a ton of money in one pocket and also in the other. So now this one is empty. I'm going to take from the other pocket. I had no more money for this journey. And I just told them somehow that this is beyond me. And I surrender it all to you, and really somehow laughed about it. After shock, a moment of shock and worry, I just decided to laugh about it. I met some friends and colleagues soon after that morning for some meeting, and they asked me, I know what's going on, and I told them, yeah, this thing happened last night, and I was laughing about it, and everyone was in sheer shock, like, how can you be laughing? It's the journey of your life, and you all of a sudden have no means to go and undertake it. But at the end, everything went well. I borrowed the money. I borrowed the money from my brother and paid for the journey, paid back to him. So,
and did you ever get
sometime after that, sorry to interrupt you, some months after that, my bank finally decided to help me and get that.
So you got the money back? So
I did about 4 months later.
Oh, you experienced some major tests. Usually people talk about, I wanted to go and then I didn't have money, and then money was just appearing from, all sorts of directions, and you were just losing money and still got to go.
Yes, maybe with this experience, someone whom I share this experience later said, maybe you just cleansed something from one of your past lives. Maybe you were supposed to lose this for energy in this form, better in form of money than, of course, health or something else. So,
never know.
Yeah.
But then you got to the journey, and now I remember that you were not, because of your health condition, you couldn't walk in like a regular environment. You couldn't walk much. So you were planning not to actually go around the Kailash, not to do the parikrama, but to just have the sight of Kailash and stay back waiting for us to come back. But something changed your mind. So I want to hear about that.
Everything was going well. I felt really well. I didn't have any challenges. There was actually two of us who were physically challenged to undertake the whole circumambulation of the mountain, but somehow the attitude was we just go for it. We just do as much as we can do. We're not going to overthink and stop ourselves with our thoughts. We feel good with whatever happens. So even if it's just the sight of the mountain, even if it's just going to the first stop or the second stop or going to the end, it was really all surrendered. That was the attitude, and both of us, I remember very clearly, felt very good with whatever happens. So somehow, step by step supportive, tremendously supportive group, guidance and help of Mohanji, his very presence. He did not go with us to the mountain, but as you and I are both witness to his presence. Without his physical presence, there was not a moment in that whole journey that he wasn't with us. I prepared to show everyone my name tag, which on one side it said I'm walking with you. So even if we had that on our hearts the whole time, just hanging there and being with us. So whenever any kind of challenge, if a challenge appeared, I really didn't have I really cannot share having had any serious challenges. My biggest challenge, maybe, and you'll find this funny, was actually handling the horse.
Yes, I remember you were complaining about how uncomfortable you were on the horse.
I have no idea why, but even when I would look around and I would see all of you, the rest of the group, everyone seemed to be having a really joyous time on the horse and being fully in control and even enjoying the ride and everything. And I was the whole time struggling to even keep myself, on that horse, which was, at the end, it's a very funny experience. But that was, I have to say, I was so blessed. That was really the only challenge I had. Several times in Nepal, I had difficulty in heat. It was really too hot for me, and then it's even more challenging to be outside, to walk, to have any kind of physical activity. And every time I would do a very, very simple, straightforward thing, I would remember Mohanji. I would feel him being with me. It was, you can also share your experience. It was very easy to feel his presence.
He was always with us. He was always with us, and I would also, and you mentioned the card. I would also look at it when I had some, like I stopped, I can't walk anymore, and look at it, and I was like, okay, he's with me, and it was so helpful, and it's amazing how you just let go and the flow happened, and you didn't have any expectations, and everything just flowed for you. It's
No,
beautiful.
I have to say that I have spent the most amazing 3 weeks of my life not stopping to be happy and to laugh the whole of that time. I've never spent 3 weeks in such sheer happiness and so much laughter that this group of people was producing. Not, laughing as in, how we usually laugh at jokes and everything, but just smiling, just being happy. I was happier and the happiest in my life. Just in awe of my surroundings. I've never even imagined that such places with such scenery even exist. I've never experienced such beautiful blue color of the skies, the absolutely perfectly white clouds, the lakes, the everything. I did not even, as I say, imagine that such scenery even exists, not to mention that I will be there physically and I'll be able to experience it, you know.
It's untouched nature. I completely agree. I know that I spent my first day, I was walking and I was far behind group with horses. But I was just stopping and enjoying nature, and there were some animals as well. I was playing with animals and giving them food. And then everybody was so worried because people, even who were walking, they came an hour before I did, and people were worried I got lost or something happened because I was just taking my time and enjoying the nature. And the difficulties came afterwards, but
Sure, yeah, I was
yeah,
taking my time as well, especially on the second day, walking above. So from that, just for people to understand, from that highest point of the journey, which was 5,630
yeah,
meters
Dolmala
altitude, if
Pass.
I remember correctly, all of a sudden I was all alone. There was no one I knew, and there were actually very few people, and there was. I don't remember how long in time was the walk down from this highest point, but very soon after you start descending, you get a sight of Gauri Kund, this
Late,
spectacular lake in
yeah.
which it is said that goddess Parvati bathes. I was
Hmm.
just I was speechless. I mean, the very sight just leaves you speechless. And I was taking my time and taking my time, taking my time, and then I was caught up with the Sherpa who was carrying my luggage, and she rushed me down. Later, I also very regretted very much not telling her, just let me be, just leave me. I have no idea why we rushed down. So
Yes,
yeah,
and you were
those
not
were.
even hypoxic, so you could enjoy because usually they instruct people not to stay at the top that long because the oxygen is, I think, at like 50% of.
I did not feel
Yeah,
anything.
and you
I did
said you
not
were
feel
not even
anything.
hypoxic, so you could
Not
enjoy.
for a second, not during the
Oh,
whole journey, not for one single second. I think it's just sheer grace. I would not know how else to explain it, but not for one second did I feel any kind of such challenge. And as I say, it was just, it was overwhelmingly beautiful until uh, one point where I was descending very slowly and I was all in, this peace and harmony
bliss.
and just complete bliss. And then I hear a loud sound, and the earth is shaking, and I'm being very slow to even react. I'm at first I'm not even reacting because what could happen? I was in one of these very very narrow passages coming down, with rocks on both sides. So it was narrow for only for one person to pass. And all of a sudden, after I don't know how long, I decide to turn around and I see three humongous yaks. There were these huge animals like bulls. They are called yaks. Three of them coming down. And I just like this, like I just turned and hid myself behind the rock. I was
Okay,
all alone. There was no one there. Nobody. I mean, if they ran over me, no one would even notice.
yeah,
And
but
I just
we were
hid
always
myself behind
protected.
the rock. And then, of course, I stood there for some time. I spent some time considering that, what could have happened if I didn't even react. But it was a really interesting moment. Anyhow,
But
I'm
when
still
was
alive
that? You
and
were
I want to go back.
obviously. But when was that? You were descending after the highest peak, Dolmala Pass. You were descending, right? And you
Yes,
were
just above Gauri Kund, the lake.
yes, I remember that. at some point you can't be on horse, even if you took
No,
a
not
horse.
even on a horse. Like one
Yeah, so
person can
that was the
pass.
moment you were alone, right? I don't remember the
One
past.
person can pass, and all of a sudden there were these three. I mean, they're so big. Yaks are huge. I have no idea how they even passed there. No idea. Like you and I, we could not pass together, holding hands. It was that narrow. So it's crazy. Maybe
But I
one
can
of those, maybe one of those, surreal moments. I don't know.
Yeah, but I have to say, everybody went through the journey safely, and they were going through a lot of things internally, but nobody was hurt in any way.
No,
Everybody
no,
was
no.
protected and safe, and no matter,
Yes.
even if those things like you mentioned, something like that happens, everybody was safe.
Yes,
So,
absolutely. I felt especially safe with the was it six Sherpas who
mhm.
went on this journey with us? There were six most amazing guys from Nepal. I thought I mean, they were so amazing. I thought the whole time they were some kind of Mohanji's army. I never saw them sleep. They seemed to be able to do everything. They were the most amazing cooks for us. I don't know about you, but I never ate such good food in my life.
I so enjoyed food. Everybody was saying that food there, don't expect
Yeah.
anything. It's like just eat. It's not tasty, but I enjoyed food so much. I don't know
No,
if it was just that year, but they were
for
amazing.
people to understand. So there were these six Sherpas who traveled with us from the
And
very start to the end. They made sure that we were safe, physically. They had oxygen, big oxygen tanks with them, and they also were preparing food for us. I really, really felt really good with them, and I felt safe in every moment. And when it comes to food, there was one moment when we were already above 4,000 meters in altitude. I don't remember the name of the place where we slept, but you will remember that the cook prepared vegan burgers for us.
oh,
Every
vegan.
single person of this 27 group agreed that none of us ever tasted such such burgers in our life. I have no
Oh,
idea what I mean. There seemed to be some magical um, what's the word, um,
ingredient.
ingredients in every single meal they made.
Yeah.
Everything was just, and it was, I considered it to be really a 5 star. I mean, I ate in 5 star hotels in my life, but never such tasty food. And it was not boring. It was different all the time. And for every meal, we had a few choices. Always there was enough food, and it was plenty. There was plenty, and it was unbelievably tasty. So I have no idea whether it's the cook's abilities and skills, or
Or
the magic
something
of the
else.
place, or Mohanji's grace. I have no idea what it was. But altogether, I have to say that the whole thing, the way it was organized, it was 5 stars, like
Yeah.
all the way. Food, transportation, the whole, the schedules, the itinerary, everything from the very start. When we applied, I felt very good with the organizing team. They were very professional. They seemed to have experience. They knew what they were doing. They were always available for us. We had, before we left, how many, I don't remember how many, but we had Zoom sessions in which we were able to ask them anything. There was no moment for me when I lacked clarity. There was always someone to ask. Information was very clear. We got very clear instructions on what to pack, what things to bring with us, how will all this look like. The whole time it was very, very, very professional. And I felt, from the very start, like 5 stars, really, everything.
I remember they were telling us in those preparation kind of before the journey talks that like don't expect good organization, don't like everything can happen, things are unexpected, we can't promise you anything, like those things. And I myself, I'm from organizational sciences. I studied that, and I'm very big on organization. I love structure and organization, and I was mentally preparing myself for a lot for a lack of it, and then everything was like just going smoothly, and I couldn't believe that, because especially in those kind of in those parts of the world, usually things are not that well organized, or it doesn't go that smoothly, especially on pilgrimages and so. But everything went so smoothly, and I was amazed with the organization. So yeah,
Same, same.
and
So,
the food I did not expect, but it was amazing. Okay, so I wanted to ask you just one more, well, not one more question, but regarding the journey, its pilgrimage itself. I know that you had to walk at some points, and you already said you had a lot of trouble walking even in the like normal surroundings. How did that go for you? Were you scared at some point that you couldn't, or
okay,
what was your
so most of the journey I spent on struggling on the horse. There were a couple of moments when the horse had to rest, so I would walk, but not for too long. It was difficult. It was challenging. I got tired very fast, but I just kept on going. It's just not a place where you are in a rush. It's not a place where you have to hurry or whatever. So I just took it as it was. I was, as I said, so happy, and I was in full acceptance of everything that was going on. But then the last day, I was tremendously enjoying the sights. I was feeling good for the first time. I was feeling good on the horse. Somehow it worked that day, me on the horse. Everything was really pleasant. I was really enjoying it, enjoying the sights. And all of a sudden, we reached some kind of ridge, some kind of, maybe I'm lacking some English word, but we reached a place from after which you could not stay on the horse
Mhm.
too much. Probably, yeah, in our language. How would you
Like
say?
Ambis or something? No,
Yeah,
it's not.
anyhow, if you stayed on a horse, you would be just too high, and if you
You,
tripped or something, you could just go over the fence and just fall into this abyss. So it was not possible, and the Sherpa kindly asked me to step down and told me that it was not possible to go on the horse anymore, having no idea how much
you
how
have to.
how long of a journey is in front of me. I had a really disastrous moment internally, saying like no, this cannot happen. Like, that I can't walk. I just, no, this like destroys everything. So now what now? I mean, I cannot do it. And in the next second, I just had a moment had a moment of realizing just where I am in this most amazing maybe place on the whole planet, most beautiful that I could ever imagine, feeling happier than I ever was in my life. And I just told myself, you know what? There is nothing that is going to ruin this day for me. I'm going to walk as an ant if I have to. I'm going to take it so slow, and I'm going to feel so good about it. I'm going to enjoy every second of it. And I made a few steps, and I also all of a sudden realized, wow, well, I'm feeling good. Well, I'm feeling so good. I'm feeling so light. The terrain was going down, so I had to. It was making me walk faster and faster and faster. And the faster I walked, I was realizing, wow, like I'm walking and it's fast, and I'm walking fast, and I'm not even, losing my breath, and my legs are working, and I'm feeling so good. And all of a sudden, the terrain was going up. There was a small hill. I climbed that hill without any problem. I was almost like walking above ground. And I was thinking to myself, my friends who were behind me, are they seeing? I mean, do they see Do they see me? I'm almost running. I cannot believe. I felt like I was in this old, once in my life, healthy, strong sports body. I felt like running, honestly. And I was just out of my mind happy, thinking like, this will go on for kilometers and I really want to see what happens. I'm going to go as fast as I can and I'm going to enjoy this. This is so good. I mean, it's really difficult for me to tell it to you in words now in this moment so that you would even closely feel how I felt in that moment. It was like that body that I knew, it was back in those moments and I could do anything. I was walking on the ground, but almost, running and feeling really good and light in my body. It was unbelievable. It was completely
Wow.
surreal. And unfortunately, already in about kilometer and a half or 2 kilometers, I reached the end of the journey and I was like, no, I want to do this. I want to do more of this. So yeah, it was very, well, least to say, a very interesting moment, quite hard to believe, very, very surreal. I had an experience of my, superb sports body all of the sudden.
Wow, that was amazing gift for the end of the journey.
Ah,
Wow.
something to remember forever.
Well, now that this year you may go back, then fingers crossed you might have another one.
Thank you so much. It's really, if I go, and I'm sure, I mean, even if it doesn't happen this year, I believe it will, but whenever I would go again, I would absolutely again go without any expectations whatsoever. I don't think that you can expect even to see the same things, to hear the same things when you're there, to experience, feel the same things. And maybe if you would ask me like about some piece of advice that I could give to anyone considering to go, I would definitely tell them to just do it, just do it. Don't overthink, just surrender, let go of the control. I do believe that it's easier for Mohanji to guide us through the whole experience if we just let go, allow him to take over the steering wheel and just be. So just do it.
I agree. I completely agree with you. Thank you, Asya, for sharing your powerful experience with us, especially how you overcame these physical and other challenges along the way and managed to let go and enjoy all the grace. Your story is a beautiful reminder that the Kailash journey helps us break through the barriers of what we believe is possible. And I'm really happy we had you here with us today.
Thank you so
And
much for the invitation.
thank you for accepting it. And to all of you watching, thank you for being with us. I hope that Asya's story inspired you and brought you a little closer to the energy of Kailash. So stay tuned for more episodes of Kailash with Mohanji Chronicles. Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.